Yo, it's Bader. Man, it's been a minute. If you follow my channel at all, it's been over 2 months since I've done a video. A lot of stuff has been going on. Short condensed version. I had a baseball room that was just got set up about 2 months ago, and 2 days in I found out I'm not gonna be able to utilize it. I have one of my sons moving back into the space, so I lost my space. Work stuff's been difficult. My income has been crushed. So we're navigating that. My budget, my hobby budget, has gone down to literally about 5-6% of what it was, let's say, a year ago. So that's impacting this a bit. Been having a great baseball season, enjoying that. Busier with work, trying to spend a lot of time with my wife. So I have not been able to participate with the hobby. Now I'm still watching videos, but lots of it is on drives or doing the dishes or whatever, and I don't have as much time to respond or anything like that. So my apologies. I'm hearing a lot of things, but don't have time to respond. I'm going to show a couple cards I'm really excited about. One of them in particular, I don't know if you've done this before, if you've been looking for cards and you go, and you just get excited. I was going through cards on eBay and I saw a card pop up and I have never hit buy it now that fast or that aggressively, or went like, there's no way that's that price and that's what it is. And so I'm going to show you that. I'm super geeked out. You might find it mildly interesting, but I'm super excited to show you guys. So I will start by doing kind of a recap. I got into YouTube less than a year ago, and it's mainly from acquiring one card in particular, and I'll show it. And if you see my channel, I've mentioned it about 3 times. So this is a 1956-57 Chico Peloteiros Camilo Pascual. I'm a big Twins and Washington Senators fan, and this is one of the players that I regularly collect. Part of it is because the cards are so affordable, and I think he's really interesting, and I like him. So when I got this card, I reached out to Orlando from A Collector's Dream, who made a specific video about getting this card, one of these, on a heritage auction, and he was very excited about it, and he talked about how rare it was. And I'm going to adjust this camera a little bit on how rare it was. And when I found out, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got the same card. There's only one ever graded. I was pretty excited. I reached out to him. I told him I thought about doing a YouTube video, and he just really encouraged me, says, absolutely do it. So if you go back, you'll see me showing this for the very first time. Now, since then, that card has now been graded. There's a total of 4. There's 3 SGCs and there's 1 PSA in the last year. So there's only 4 cards of those graded in the world. So it's a very rare card. Now, in the last year and a half, I have continually, learned about new players, been introduced to things, and there's one player in particular. His name is Conrado Marrero. Sometimes hear Connie Marrero, and he's got tops 52, 53. There's a 54 Bowman card, but basically he's a super interesting little 5'5" Cuban player who was incredibly dominant in Cuba as an amateur and then as a pro, and competing against other countries, and then coming to the U.S. and becoming a Washington Senator at almost the age of almost 40 years old, and playing really well for like 4 or 5 year period before going back and playing down there again. He's a phenomenal player. He's very much like a Satchel Paige-ish character. So I have really liked learning about him and collecting his cards. Now, if I wanted to get one of these Chico Peloteiros Camilo Pascual cards, I don't know how long it would take me to find another one. It would be very, very difficult. But when the Connie Marrero version popped up on eBay, there it is, for $39. I was like, are you kidding me? So I have not been buying cards. I'm looking, but having excellent self-control, and just like, no, I'm not buying cards. I'm not buying them. But this one, I couldn't hit the ball. I couldn't hit it fast enough. So that is the front. There's currently 2 of these graded in the world. There will be 3. I'm going to comment on that in a second. Here's the back. You can tell it came out of a binder. So I'm sure this is going to get a 1. But it's a good-looking card, and I'm sure it's going to be a 1, and it's going to be sitting next to this as a 1, and I'll be having one more 1 that I'm very grateful for. So I'm going to send it off to SGC. Now, I'm going to take one of the things I wanted to comment on was the state of SGC, because I've done a couple videos. I listen to a lot, but I haven't been doing a lot of commenting. And I just hear so much stuff about SGC, how it's dying, and it's disappearing, and it's going away. And as I listen to everything, I go, is this a big deal? Is this a big deal? Like Peter leaving, is this a big deal? And in one hand, I go, yes. And the other hand, I go, no, this isn't a big deal. How does that affect you? I bought an SGC card. I want another. I want it slabbed by SGC. Peter's there. Peter's not there. How is that affecting me? It's not. It doesn't affect you at all. To me, it affects the direction that the company's going. But in terms of the actual me having a card graded and coming back, it doesn't affect me at all. How about I can't do bulk submissions anymore? Like I can't go to my local place and put them in, and they ship out 50 cards and they get a discount. Does that really hurt anything? I'm like, no, I don't see that hurting it either, because I can still submit to you. As long as I still get the same service and the same grading, like that doesn't really affect me, and especially if it's not profitable for them to do it. It was about growing them. It wasn't about being profitable. Like, it's not a big deal. That's my point of view. Not a big deal. Well, what if the turnaround time goes from 1 week and it's almost a month now? Is that a massive deal? I'm like, well, it's definitely inconvenient, but everybody takes that longer. So it's not a big deal. So I haven't heard anything where it makes me go, no, this is just bad. It's sinking. The ship is sinking. So that's been my viewpoint until I finally heard the first thing that made me go, oh no, that's bad. That's bad. I own 2 businesses, and if I acquired SGC and I had these, like, our wait times are going to be longer, I'll charge people a little bit more, but as long as my grading's consistent and everything else, I'm like, these aren't really big things. But this one is. This is a big uh-oh. The uh-oh is, I believe, and my apologies if I'm incorrect, but I believe I was listening to Sammy Thunder. He's got a great YouTube channel, and he was talking about there's a group of people that had commented or posted or did their own videos, which I didn't see, so this is like, I'm not sure this is fact, but it sounds like it is that they had cards that were non-sports cards, and they were sending them to SGC, and SGC always graded them. They'd always take care of them, and if they didn't know the card, do the research and everything else. It sounds like they were doing good-sized submissions of 40, 50 cards, something like that a lot. And like over half or most of them were coming back and saying, will not hold her, and they were coming back quickly. So the idea is like, well, those are a little bit more obscure. We don't really know those really well. Maybe they've lost some of their SGC guys over to PSA so that PSA can do it, but SGC can't anymore. But for the first time, I've heard a piece of information that is SGC can no longer take care of their customer like they could in the past. Like I get like, oh man, instead of 7 days, I get 28 days. Like, oh, that's inconvenient. Maybe some people would leave for that. But it does sound like the times are getting better. But if I sent in a rare card, you graded it for me last year, but I send you the same card again this year, and you go, nah, sorry, we're not doing that. And you send it back, and there's a lot of those. Oh man, that's my first like, oh, that's not good. That's not good. And he said that there was multiple people that had the same experience of sending back very rare low pop cards where they would no longer grade them. So anyways, that causes me some fear, a little bit, but I'm going to send this in, and there's only 2 of them graded. I think, I believe it was like 67 to 75 cards in this entire set, which is a good size set, have been graded by SGC. Only 9 have ever been done by PSA. So and the pop card on any of the cards is like 5 and under. I think there might be one that was 7. But like, so it's a rare card. So let's see if they have any issues. I would be very sad if they end up sending it back. Okay, that's my Conrado Marrero. A couple other cards. A lot of bang for the buck for how much I spent. This is a $6 card. I got it for a couple of reasons. One, it's a Burke Ross card. It's 1951. I don't have any Burke Ross cards in my collection. I was like, I think that'd be really cool. I hear a lot about them. I've seen them. I'd like to have one. And I also like Ed Lopat. All right. And it's a pretty darn clean copy. There's no wrinkles. There's no creases. My understanding with these cards is they're pretty notorious for being off center. There is the back, but it's a very good condition version. with those like, almost looks like watercolor pastels in there. Sorry, there's something going on with my nose here. But it was $6, and I thought, man, I think it's super cool. I thought that was a good way to spend $6 from a fun entertainment way. Here's another card. This is not a baseball card, and I've shown some weightlifting cards before. I've competed in weightlifting. I have an appreciation of it. I have a certain knowledge of the history of it, especially of the U.S. Weightlifters. And this is our most successful heavyweight lifter ever. And I think he's an absolute freak of nature. So I'm going to show you this card. This is a 1956 Swedish record journal. It's a hand cut card. So what they would have is two athletes side by side, and you could cut them out. I'll show you the backs first. They look like this, showing the information of both people, and you can cut it down the middle. But this is one of the rare times where I've seen them cut out together. And if you look at that, first, just look at Paul Anderson. And every person looking at this would go, look at his neck. Look at the size of that man's neck. He is like 5'9", something like 320, 330 pounds. He's an absolute ball of muscle. One of the strongest human beings ever. And this is before like the steroid stuff was going on. So absolutely crazy. So this is a very uncommon card. I don't know how many of those are out in existence and how many people are collecting them, but this is the highest graded version by PSA. And I'm saying graded like this because sometimes I'll see PSA holders and they're all over the place. I've got some PSA 68 Topps cards that I had acquired at one point where I would grade them like 3s, maybe 4s, and they're 5, 6s. And then I have other cards where, like this one, and there is obviously no wrinkles or anything. It's a 5, but you like look at the centering, look at the corners. The surface is pretty much perfect. I would think that this is like an 8, 7, 9. I don't know, but there's like, how and where is that a 5? Back is super clean. And again, I'm boring you out of your mind because it's a weightlifting card, but I think the bigger point on that one is like, I just, some of this grading stuff, especially PSAs, the inconsistency is crazy, but we put a premium on them. So anyway, this is the highest graded version of this card in the world. And it cost me $20. It cost me the amount of the grading fee to buy the card. That's a lot of bang for your buck. Like, I think it's incredibly interesting. You do not see these very often or every day. And then even if you did, even if you go like, yeah, I can find them, like finding one that is in that condition is absolutely crazy. All right, last card. It was my anniversary yesterday. Happy anniversary, Anthony. Thank you very much. This is a NBA graded card. I had never heard of this before. I've heard of the name Mike Baker a couple times. I believe the story is, and I could be wrong, so fact check. My understanding is he's like the first or one of the first employees ever at PSA as a grader. Later, I believe he started like IGA, and now his company does more of gold labeling different cards as a secondary authentication of the how good the card is for its grade. And this is, I believe now they'll actually grade the entire card. So you've got a gold label here, but this is a 1967 Topps Venezuela Retirado card of Conrado Marrero. Okay, very desirable set right now. And I'm going to go like this. And obviously, one of the things I don't like is I get it does a good job of protecting the card, but the card is in a penny sleeve. And so you get the wrinkles of the penny sleeve. So that I'm not a big fan of. And I think if I hold it like this, it'll show the card better. But the card itself is a very, very nice example. I very much believe this could be graded as a 4. I don't think it would be unreasonable at all. There's no fish eyes. There's no little micro wrinkles. There's nothing I see there. Slightly centering with how they would do the white bordering stuff and little light touches at the corners. But it is a very good looking card. And the front, I think, looks better even than the back, which is not too bad. The back corners have a little bit of touches. But it is a very, very good looking example of this card. And this is a weird example of this label and the case is actually hurts the value of the card, which is crazy. I saw PSA 1s and raw ones that have paper torn out that cost more than this version, which is like cuckoo land. I do not know why. Like, cracking this out, taking it out and just selling it as is would make it a more valuable card than this. That's insane. This grading stuff is just really funky. I would be more than happy with seeing this grade and this label of buying another card under that label all day long if it's going to get me a value like that. But anyway, NBA cards. I think that the holder looks really cool. I just don't like the bagging that's in it. All right, those are the cards that I wanted to show. It's been so fun to do another video. I'm going to be doing some more. I have so many cards that I could show and want to play with, and I think moving forward, since I'm not putting much money into the hobby, I can appreciate more of the stuff that I just have and go through that stuff. But that's it. Bader out.